Welcome to Stormwater Drainage Solutions. And in today's video, we're going to be installing a surface drain. So basically a surface drain, also known as a catch basin, has one goal, and that's to pick up immediate surface runoff water, also known as point water. So what we have going on here is a low spot by the side garage door. It's a bowl in the yard. So water is gathering in this area and flooding it out. So what we're going to be doing is installing a 9x9 catch basin. We're going to be running that into a main line and piping it all the way to the street. Now we're going to be using SDR 35 for our main line pipe. And the thing about surface drains is wherever you pipe that water, it has to be lower than the area you are gathering the water from. Otherwise, it will not work. Remember to give 811 a call before you do any excavation. That way they can come out and mark any utility lines that may be in the area. So once we started excavating this area, we quickly found this 12x12 catch basin that was installed in the ground. Now, this catch basin didn't lead to anything. There was no pipe, there was nothing, and it was filled with stone and dirt. And I do not understand why this was installed this way, but sometimes that kind of stuff happens. Landscapers, handyman, people that don't really know what they're doing do this kind of stuff. Now, whenever you're installing a surface drain, obviously you need a mainline pipe. You need a drainage pipe to be able to actually take that water somewhere to discharge it. Now, as you can see here, we're installing our 9x9 catch basin. We put a layer of geotextile drainage fabric underneath. Then we fill that with a bed of pea stone, and we're going to drill a couple of holes at the bottom of this catch basin. That way, when the rain event is over, that water can leach into the ground slowly. That way the basin is not holding water. Now, depending on the soil you're in, this may or may not work very well. If you're in clay soil and you have a clay pan underneath, the water's not going to want to leach out of that catch basin no matter how many holes you drill. If you are in sandy soil or loomy soil, then that will leach the water out. Now, as you can see, we got our trench fully dug and we are piping in our SDR 35 PVC pipe. Now, another thing, whenever you're working with PVC pipe, make sure you use a PVC solvent cement to glue your fittings and pipe together. I've heard guys say that you don't even need to do that when it comes to yard drainage, that you can just stick the pipe in the bell end of the fitting and call it a day without any solvent cement. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's insane. If you're working with PVC drainage pipe, use a solvent cement. Now with yard drainage, you don't have to go overboard and use a primer on it. You can if you want to, but it really isn't necessary in yard drainage. Now, if you're working with sanitary sewer systems, then it most definitely is necessary. But yard drainage is just rainwater. I wouldn't worry about it too much. A good heavy duty glue is all you're going to need to solvent cement these pipes together. Now, make sure you use levels. That's going to be the second most important thing when working with PVC pipe. Make sure you level your pipe out and you have that water flowing in the opposite direction of the way that bubble on that level is pointing. Now, I would recommend every 10 feet you go ahead and level that pipe out. Now, once you have your pipe all fully leveled out, you're going to want to pack dirt around the sides of that pipe. That way it holds it in place while you backfill the top of the dirt. Now at the end of our discharge, we're going to be using a pop-up emitter, and we're going to be using the French Drain Man pop-up emitter with turf restrictor plate. I really like these pop-up emitters because it allows time for the grass to grow before you have to weed eat around it, so it does not grow over the pop-up. It gives you time, and that is always a good thing, especially in life. Now, we do the same exact thing here. We're going to be putting a layer of geotextile filter fabric along with a bed of pea stone and a percolation tee. That way, once the rain event has ended, that system can slowly leach into the ground. Now, while the system is functioning on a rain event, the water is going to be coming up out of the pop-up emitter. But once the rain event has ended and the water slows down and it no longer starts to come up out of the pop-up emitter, it's going to slowly seep into the ground. That's why we use the percolation tee. Now, certain situations, we will use an elbow with a big hole drilled at the bottom, but it all depends on the soil. It depends on how much fall we have. It depends on where we're draining it to. It depends. There's a lot of factors that go into this. So not every job is going to be the same. It all just depends. With yard drainage, it is all subject to change depending on the environment you're in, depending on the soil type, depending on the landscape, depending on what's in the ground, obstacles. So you have to be versatile and you have to be flexible whenever working with yard drainage. Now, as you can see, we got the garden hose running and the water is flowing out very nicely out of our pop-up emitter, going into the street exactly where we want it. And in live time here, I'm gonna go ahead and walk over to the area so you can see the area is not getting flooded out. We have the garden hose right in the catch basin and it's just taking in water like a champ. Exactly what we want it to do. This area is not going to flood out anymore. It's not going to be an issue. There's not going to be standing water in this area. We put that catch basin in the lowest spot possible. Now, a way to determine the lowest point in your yard, simply run a garden hose or go out there while it's raining and see where the lowest points are, mark them off with a flag. It's really that simple. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video and you gained some knowledge from watching it. And let me tell you, we got a lot of good videos coming up, but the problem is we've been experiencing a drought here in Florida, and I am going to get rain footage on a lot of these videos because everybody is always asking and wanting to see rain footage. They want to see these systems functioning in action in a rainstorm, and I'm determined to get this footage for you guys on these videos because these are some really good jobs that we did, and I've got to get that rain footage before I post them. So be patient, and as soon as this drought is over and we start getting some rain here in Florida, I'm going to get that footage. Now, if you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, comment. It really helps us out, supports the channel. And until next time, this is SWDS signing off.